So it took me about 20 minutes to get our state of the group. I take another 20 minutes to get my down for the TKC theory. All right, so I started with the audiobook. I have listened since last time we talked about my audiobooks a year ago. So I listened to the book Democracy in America. That was written in 1835. There was a very interesting question in that book. Why are there so many associations in the United States? That's a very interesting question. Well, I hope you think about it. And it made a very interesting comment. The American Republic will endure until the day Congress discovers that it can bribe the public with the public's money. Okay, is that what's happening now? That's 1835. It's the French. He came from France. He visited the United States. He wrote that book. If you want to understand the American democracy, it's a very good book. And then some other books, the possibility principle is quantum physics, improve the way you think, live, and love. That's a very interesting topic, right? And you know, I didn't learn history of the United States. This book is very good. It's a great course called The History of the United States. And you know, in the United States, we have a lot of conservatives, right? The conscience of conservative, that's a Barry Goldwater. And it's a pretty interesting book. And I was told that, or I learned his book actually was the base for Reagan policy. And there's another book, it's also the history called This Truth. And I like what this lady wrote in the book, right? By writing, man becomes immortal. Well, read more papers, right? Read books. And there's 3 books I want to talk about. The red one is that this was actually, I read this year, I listened to this year. One is How Will You Measure Your Life? He's a professor at Harvard. He passed away early this year. He is relatively young, actually. He's not that old, only over slightly over 60. And then another one is The Power of Meaning. This is the kind of more modern kind of ways. Talk about happiness versus the meaning of life. Talk about 3 things you just think about life, and talk about the 4 pillars in life. And then this book actually is a very, very famous book. And Viktor Frankl, he was in the German concentration camp. And many of his people died. His wife died, and so forth. And he was talking about the man's search for meaning. Actually, he created a new psychology called logotherapy. After he got out of the camp, talk about super meaning, talk about new point of view. New point of view is basically reference state. Transitory, that's kinetics. Potentialities is the thermodynamics. So this actually is the thermodynamics, kinetics, and reference state. And this one is about the interface. So it's actually TKC theory. And it's very interesting. So but I want to talk about this book. So this book is useful when you are really, really hard. Life is really, really hard to you. Think about it, you're in the concentration camp, right? Cannot be harder than that. And this book, it's more like, you know, I would think it's a little bit shallow, not that deep, okay? Maybe like casual reading. But this one is very good. This is very, very useful. I encourage all of you to listen to this one. If you have to listen to one book. So actually I took so many notes of it. How will you measure your life? Asked about 3 questions: happy, relationships, and integrity. And you have to have a theory. You have to have a theory. That's very, very interesting. I think that's my TKC theory, okay? You have to have a theory. And then another thing is that when you have your kids, now this is very important to Hongyong, okay, or to Guangzhou, okay, when your kids are young. This chapter 5, I actually put the chapter 5 around 17 minutes in chapter 5. There's one section there is very, very good. And this is also very critical. You invest long before you need them, okay? And the importance of purpose. Okay? That's thermodynamics, the purpose. Okay? Have a theory. Oh, this book is fantastic. I think you should read. This is not very long, like 5 hours, I believe, 5 or 6 hours. Okay, so what is PhD? So you probably, all of you know that already. PhD is about philosophy, right? Philosophy is asking questions. Yeah. But you know, philosophers sometimes cannot answer questions, right? So, but now we're PhD, so we're scientists. We develop solutions. Okay, we not only ask the questions, we also develop solutions. So what are the questions to ask? Well, 2 essential questions to ask oneself. Why am I doing this? Okay, that's, of course, is a very powerful question. And of course, that's not enough, right? After you get that clear, you have to ask yourself, well, how can I do it better? So I've done both questions, right? And that's my slogan in my, I think last time I give talk, I didn't, this one was not made yet. Now it's made. So it's my present coin. I have some present coin. Can do better than your best. That's my coin there. That's my model to moving forward. And the 2 questions ask others. Well, you know, some of you I ask this question. So what is the best job? So it's very important when you answer question, don't jump on the conclusion. Understand the question first, right? Define, for example, job. You have to define what's a job, right? What is the definition of a job? It's not a volunteer. Okay, what's best? When best, that means you compare. When you compare something, you have to have a set of criteria. Then what is the most important thing to do in order to be successful? You have to define what's successful, right? You have to define what's successful first. Then you define, then you have to have a set of criteria for the importance, most important, second important, and so forth, right? So again, any question you have, don't jump into the answer, because most of the time you jump into the answer, they're usually not right. Or, well, incomplete, please. So you want to really think about these questions first. And people always ask me, right? Why are you always positive? So that's the 3 questions, but usually 2 questions. Okay, I told you I have many stories. Last week, we had our happy hour. I talked about a story in 1976, right? That story, I'm going to quickly go through it, is that I went to see my brother. And then I rode a tractor from this place to the main highway, not highway, main road. And then was trying to get somebody to pick me up, but nobody picked up. I started walking from here all the way back to my home here. And you can see this is 37 kilometers. If you remove 7 kilometers, 30 kilometers walking, okay? You can see how long it would take. I started in the morning and I got there after dinner time. My mom thought I disappeared, but I survived. Okay, so I have a lot of stories, but I want this is my personal story, and this is my learned stories from others. As I did before, maybe I should ask somebody else in the group who heard my story before, which story you have not heard? Except the Shunan and Yuan. They probably heard all the story already. That would be Brandon and Jorge.
I think we have heard all of these.
All of this?
I think
so. The NSF one, I believe you have, and Grandma's funeral.
This one, graduate school entrance exam?
Yeah, that one as well, yeah.
Okay. And the proposal I mentioned many times already, right?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I should ask.
I haven't heard anything. I guess in old days you don't tell story.
I didn't tell a story. Okay. I want to tell a story. Let's tell one story here then. Of course, I have a lot of stories here too, right? Kim Pancake stories, and story I'm playing golf, and a very interesting one. But I think let me do this 78 story. Same story. So there is that. You see, that's my hometown, as the place I mentioned. So I took entrance exam for the college. So I got admitted. Actually, I didn't get admitted. I got passed the exam. I passed the the minimum. So then there was another opportunity for me to get an exam to go to another school. So my father took me there. We went there. We got a registration. Then we went back home, waited for to get us admitted to the exam. Okay. So then a few weeks later, we got a call. Say, you know, day after tomorrow, there'll be exam. So I should go there to get the exam day after tomorrow. And that's the place I was the only ones, right, for the registration. And they didn't want to register me because they said, I don't have any awards, you know. But my father took me there 3 times, every day there. We went every day. So the guy was moved. He said, wow, you really want to do that. But you know, we cannot guarantee now. You go home to wait. So we went home to wait. A few days later, we got a call. We should go there. And this time, my father has not as much money. He said, you know, you can go by yourself. Oh, okay. So I went by myself. So first year I took a bus, went to here, take a bus. I changed the train by myself. I took a train all the way here. I arrived there at 8 o'clock p.m. And they told me somebody going to pick me up. 8 o'clock, I waited there. I waited for somebody to pick me up. So I stayed there until 10 o'clock. Nobody showed up. But my exam is tomorrow. You know, because the next day, right? Next day, we got a call the day before. Next day, I took the bus, took the train. I got there, and nobody picked me up. So I want to take exam tomorrow. But I know that place. I visited that place, right? In my previous trip a few days ago. So I decided that was in the evening, you know. At that time in Changsha, there's only one bus in the evening. The bus is from railway station all the way to the west side of the city. So I took the bus. I get off at the center. Get off the center here at really the center of the city. Then I know that I vaguely remember this place there, right? I will need to go to that place. So if you come from here, so from here to there is like three and a half kilometers. So the total distance is 10 kilometers. So about 6.5 kilometers here, right? So I took the bus there. I started to walk. I carry my bag. I walk. I go there. I just try to remember where it is. I walked there. Then I passed here. Of course, on the way I asked people. Then when I got here, I asked people. So, oh, you passed over. So I went back, and I come here. So you have to remember the building. No, I have to remember which building and which door. So I went there. I arrived at 12 o'clock. So it took me 2 hours to get there. I knocked on the door. I woke that person up at 12 o'clock. So the next day, he rode a bicycle to me, bicycle down back here. The exam was here. Okay. So we went back here to exam. The whole day exam. Then day after that, I think a 2-day exam. After that, I went back to my hometown. And the university take me. Because I didn't get in university after so much work. So the 2 lessons to learn here. One is that, you know, even though you don't know where that it is, right? You can do it. You can ask people for help on the way. You can get it to your destination. But you have to also remember that it doesn't matter how hard you work, you may not reach your goal. That does not mean you should not work hard. Okay. So that was a very, very interesting example. And it shows that, you know, sometimes you just have to accept the fate. But I do want to talk about this one, and one more, this one, in 1982. That's where I finished the college. No, just before I finished college, my grandma passed away, and she was here. And this is my school. So I got a telegram from my parents, say, go home to the funeral. So I looked at the telegram. There's no punctuation, right? No punctuation. So I thought I'm going to wait here, then go together to the home, right? No, they said I should go home. I should go home. I don't know which home. You have 3 places, you know. Then meet them. I've never been there before. Then I suppose they want to go back. I wait for 1 day. They didn't show up. I go back to my room. I look at the telegram. I said, gee, that doesn't make sense. That means they should ask me to go back to either here or there. But I've never been there, right? So then I said, what should I do? I said, I really want to go there. I want to see, go to the funeral of my grandma. Because when we were young, she came to see us. So I decided to buy a ticket. So I bought a ticket. I know it's this county. So I bought a ticket from here, rode to the county. Then I bought another ticket. I know that's the one low below the county, like the borough. Okay. So how do I remember this place? I was trying to imagine I was trying to think about when my father, he wrote a letter to his parents. Then I tried to recover that picture of the envelope. I recovered here, I recovered there. Then when I arrived this place, I recovered actually the hometown place, exactly this place. And then I asked people where to go, how to go there, right? Okay. And people showed me, okay, this is the place you get off the bus. I got off the bus. They said you should go like this. Okay. All right. So how far is that? This is 94 kilometers. Of course, this is very far away. But from here, it's 5.8 kilometers. So I walked from here and all the way there and all the way down there. I got to the funeral place. Of course, I was 2 days too late. And the funeral was done. But everybody was there. I saw all my relatives. This is a very important lesson again. It's what you want, even though you don't know the past. But you can find the past. Past will find. You will find the past. Like you will remember it. You will get information. The only thing is that what you want. All right, so a lot of stories. So let's talk about the materials engineering. Now I go back to TKC theory. It's in my theory. The inverse engineering is a very important way to inverse engineering, but also for the simulations what you do. But the important thing is that what connects everything in the materials is individual phases, right? So now what you think about thermodynamics is really 3 parts for all the core of the materials: thermodynamics, kinetics, and crystallography. Okay? So what it means is that, I showed this before, the life journey is actually like a tensile test. At the beginning, you start with 0. You are very elastic. You are very deformable. Okay? Then you become older. You cannot be deformed anymore. You yield. You give up. Okay? You find the life is so hard. Well, but you struck with your life, and you get string hardening. You become tougher. Okay? But then you become very, very strong. You reach the top of your life, but then you have to go down, right? And one day you're going to fracture. That's going to be broken, right? And then eventually, this is all steel, right? All iron alloys, right? Just with different elements. These elements is like your experience. Like, where you go, what you do, write another paper. So all of them are steels. Look at it, some of them are strong, but very short, okay? Some of them are both strong and long, right? So this is just like different people. So you can think about this, is that a person lived at 49 years old, right? Looks very high and dropped down there, right? So it's very interesting, right? So that means we really think about it, right? We need to set up a goal. I have some Chinese too, because I was asking the Chinese presentation. This asks a question, why am I doing this? Okay, that means you know your goal, okay? And what's the best way to go there? Then how can I know the barrier? Because everything has a barrier. If there's one process, no barrier, that's unstable. And that means you need to figure out your states. You need to understand your state. Okay? Your state could be stable, metastable, and unstable. But please do not be unstable, right? And you have to figure your driving force. Make sure you have a proper driving force for what you do. And you think about the backward thinking. Always thinking where you want to be. I gave 3 examples here, right? I want to go home. That's the first one. Second one, I want to go to knock that door, get my exam. The third one, I want to be at my grandpa's funeral. There's always difficult. Some are difficult more than the other, right? Okay. So always have driving force. You have to drive yourself. Don't drive yourself too crazy, and don't make your life boring. Okay. Now you're ready, right? You can set up your goal. You're ready to go. Okay. But you have to find which is the best way, right? Are you going to walk? Are you going to take a tractor? But sometimes you have no choice, okay? But we have to go with the barrier, right? You have to work on it. You have to change your state. That means you're going to disturb something. Some people may not like it, okay? You get constraints. You can change from outside to inside. And the time is a logarithmic scale. Sometimes you work so hard, you don't get it at the end, right? Sometimes just like the one 2018 and 1978 for the exam. I worked so hard. I prepared for exam. I took so much risk, right, at night. I could just stay in the train station to be safe for the whole night. So that goes to my 10 pancake stories. You know, times logarithms at the beginning, you say you eat one pancake until 9 pancake, you still feel hungry. But the 10th pancake make you full. But you have to remember, that happens because you had 9 pancakes before. Okay. And you have the backward thinking, find the best path. Think about it as the place you want to go. What's the best way to do it? Maybe you should take the first bus, then change the second bus, right? And stay focused. This time I even put equation here now. I want to really mention 2 things very, very, very critical. First, you want to stay focused. As Newton's law actually guides that. First one is that the third law, action, reaction. Don't react, act. So what does it mean? You get a lot of external forces on you. Most of the time, it's against you. Okay, most of the time it's against you. So what you can change is your internal force. What is internal force? I mean, now this is another book called The Human Understanding. Okay, as well, again, that book was 1700 or 1600, written by, I forgot whom now. It's probably by a European scientist, a European philosopher, of course. So your assumption is against you, but once you can change, that's reflection, right? It's reflection. It's how you react to outside. So you cannot change them, but you can change yourself. So the bottom line is that you want to change yourself, how you react, so make your combined force goes where you want to go. That goes to go back to my story to my graduate school. When I go to grad school in 1982, my advisor told me he did not recruit me as his student. Basically means that he doesn't want me, right? He thinks I'm stupid because I'm from another major, I'm not the same major. So I'm probably one of the worst student in the whole group. But of course, that's not right because my entrance score was very good. Was one of the top, actually. But, you know, what do you do? Your advisor didn't like you. Well, you know, what do? You just work hard, right? And at the end, you can change his thinking. So you make use even stronger. Maybe one will go to your direction. Okay, so it's very important. Your force, that means your force direction has to go to your goal direction, okay? If you just react to people, that's very bad because they will go wrong direction, okay? Don't react, okay? Act. And also very important, right? You want to go faster. How can you go faster? Well, you know, of course, get a bigger force, but the most important, reduce the mass. Reduce mass of 2 things. Not just physical mass, is the virtual mass. Mentality is very important. Mentality mass is harder, it's heavier than physical mass. I was talking with one past president some time ago, as a past president. He said there are people that are sad about something, carry that burden for 30 years in their life, consumed by that burden. That's a virtue mass. It's very, very important. Everything you have, everybody here, everything you have now is the best you have. Cannot be better. Only tomorrow can be better. Okay, that's very, very important. That means that you reduce your virtual mass to 0. Well, yeah, you cannot reduce 0, right? But the idea is that reduce as much as possible. That's why I'm positive, because I know any negative thoughts I have is not going to help me. Of course, in the future, I may tell you some more things, what happened this year, right? In this 2020. So many things happened to me. Many of them are negative too. You probably don't hear, right? You don't hear I'm slowing down. No, I'm not. Because I cannot do anything about that. Okay? I focus on what I can do. This is very important. Okay, now you got your goal, right? You choose the best path. You focus on your force. Okay, you accelerate yourself. But the last thing you can do is reduce the barrier. You want the barrier as small as possible. So you first have to understand why there's a barrier. If you have taken my 410, you will know that, right? Maybe I should ask who took my 410? Adam, what's the origin of a barrier?
In the TKC theory or in
No,
thermodynamics?
anything, same thing. TKC theory or science, or 410 in my class.
For the barrier?
Yeah, why is this a barrier? Origin. Oh, he doesn't remember yet. Let's go back to Brandon.
Because you have to squeeze between atoms, right? To go from one state to another.
That's right, disturbance. It's interface. It creates interface. It creates something different. Okay? So when you create different, the nature is against you, as I mentioned. That's second law. Okay, second is against you. Okay? Or kind of the Shatley principle. By Shatley principle, everything you do, the system will do against it. So you get a barrier there. And of course, you can solve two ways to solve the barrier. You jump very fast, right? You work very hard. Okay? You activate yourself. And the second one is reduce it, right? What do you do both, right? You activate yourself, reduce the barrier at the same time. Two things, right? You increase the efficiency, increase your productivity. So talk about activate yourself. How to activate yourself? Well, the typical time, so you start to get a little bit wake up at 6:30, then you get up, or you get slowly, maybe you lie in the bed for some time, you get up at 7 o'clock, or maybe 7:30, you eat your breakfast, you start moving up, and then you go to office, you start to work in the lunchtime, go to lunch, then you feel a little bit dizzy after your lunch, then you start slowing down a little bit, and then go home and go to sleep, right? I told many of you, don't do that. Okay, do like this. Get up at 6:30. I told you I drink a potion my wife designed, which is very simple. It's hot water with honey and a lemon. Okay, then check your email, then do exercise. Bump your energy to the highest you can reach. Make your heart beat 140. Okay, and then eat your breakfast, take a shower, go to office. Then start to work. Okay, all the way there. And then probably similar in the afternoon and so forth. So I have meetings. Now you see, the area here is the work you do. Okay, so the work under the purple one is more than 50% higher, more than 50% higher than the orange one. Time is the same to everybody. Okay, activate yourself earlier. That's what I've been doing that for 20 years, at least 20 years. And then the last one is coherent. And this is a paper, I think this is Yuan's paper, right? Oh, from the citation from other people's paper. This is beta double prime phase, or maybe beta prime phase in aluminum alloy, precipitates. So the coherent precipitate make aluminum stand high temperature. I hope everybody knows this one. This one is nickel-based superalloy. The gamma prime, and coherent, the highest temperature material we have. Okay, can use for engineering purpose. So could be coherent. It's very important. You have to first coherent with yourself. That means your goals and your actions come together, coherent. The second coherence is that you have to coherent with your family. So that's the thing. I've been told this all the time. Turn out exactly that book. How do you measure your life? They talk about exactly the same thing. You have to be externally coherent with your family. The most close ones, your spouse, right? So again, I can brag about myself in my 35 years. I never raised their voice to my wife. Well, I don't agree with him sometimes. I didn't raise my voice because I know that's the most important person in my life. okay? And then your kids, and then your colleagues, right? Now you're in the same group, then your friends, okay? You want to help others as much as you can, okay? So that's very, very important, coherent with them. And then, but we know that it can't be mean-spirited gap, right? It's different. It was different, okay? But even for, did I see somebody here? Oh, okay. Manu is joining us too. Oh, it's a bit too late, but let me invite him too. Hi, Manu.
This is Manjira, Dr. Liu.
Hi, Manjira. How are you?
Good, good, Dr. Liu.
Okay, but you're 1 hour late, so that's okay.
Yeah, I am late.
That's fine, no problem.
Meeting
Thanks for joining. Okay, so we'll continue. And you see, the mean-spirited gap is unavoidable, right? But even with mean-spirited gap, still make sure you're coherent. You're different, but you're coherent. Find the commonality, and agree with the difference. Don't fight for the difference. Tolerate the difference. Okay, of course, now we all about DEI, diversity, because that was different. Equity, got to be, fair, right? Inclusive, okay? That's DEI, of course, DEI, that's very, very important because that was different, right? It really cannot be the same, but make sure the interface is still coherent. Okay, find the common things, why we're together, right? And there's a difference, find the difference. Okay, everyone's different, right? Actually, I think we're not doing the neural network. Bogar left. Oh, Bogar's joining back. Bogar's joining back. You see, it's very, very critical, right? And actually, with this machine learning what we're talking about, it's very interesting. The machine learning is the human is like a machine learning process, neural network. So your experience build up your network, affects how you think, how you act, right? But you have to continuous learning, right? To become better. And that was this transfer learning. I like this word, it's a very nice one. So that's actually how humans learn too. So we continue to do that, never stops. But be sure you're coherent with yourself. Okay, it's hard, okay? It's hard, life is hard. But you have your goal, you have the action, together, same direction. That's exactly what that book's talking about. I like that book so much. It's by the Harvard professor. And it's so interesting. He got his degree, PhD in 37 years old. He became a professor 39 at Harvard. And with your family, okay? Family is the key for your happiness. Family is the key for your happiness. That's to show your value to the family. Okay, so now I summarize my TKC theory. And thermodynamics is why I'm doing this. Set up your goals, be quantitative, and multidimensional. And the driving force can only be evaluated when you have both initial and final states defined. With all your forces pointing to the goal, like the Star Wars, right? May the force be with you. And the reference is very important, okay? You have to realize that the place become better because of you, okay? So you improve it, make it better. Kinetics, what is the best way to do it? Every process has a barrier that can never be eliminated, okay? So you ask people for help. Then you have to help other people. Find the best routes, backward thinking. And you have to be satisfied with yourself, okay? Be in harmony, be coherent with yourself. Everything you have done is the best. Cannot be better. Only future can be better. Tomorrow can be better. Well, how can I do it better? Well, coherent. And be flexible. Even though we know that like the materials we become yield, right? Sometimes we become too rigid. Okay, we only know string hardening. We forget we can still be elastical. Okay, be flexible. That means that, well, you don't reach that goal, that's fine. I get another goal. Yeah. All right, so last one, I think the last slide I have. The most important thing for success, you have to define what success is. Now, I hope by now, yeah, I hope you all agree with me, is that you reach your goal. You reach your goal, you're successful. And then how do I reach my goal successfully? Well, I need communication. Communication, I need to find the best path, right? I need to learn from the people. If I want to learn from the other people, I have to respect them first. To respect them, I have to listen to them. When listen to them, I have to be positive. I don't want to criticize other people all the time. At the same time, I want to be confident. I want to smile all the time. Keep a smile on your face, even though it's very hard. And how to be confident? Well, you have to do your homework. You have to work diligently and very thorough. Think about all possibilities. Think about it. Okay. People always say, just do it. I don't say that. I say, don't just do it. Think about it and then do it. And then to move closer to your goal, you have to create new knowledge. Well, I believe the peer-reviewed journal publications is an important way for us to create new knowledge. And then you have to be results-oriented, go back to your goal. Then you ask a lot of whys. Why am I doing this? How can I do it better? Learn from the experts. Don't just do it, because you're going to try to reinvent the wheels. Your wheel will not be more round than the wheel people made already. Communication then. Learn from that how to communicate, right? Go back to the beginning. So that's a cycle. That's the never-ending cycle. Two essential questions. Why am I doing this? Does it align with the goals? How can I do it better? Doing what you love is freedom. Loving what you do is happiness. You have to do both. You have to have a freedom. You have to be happy. Loving doing what you love to do is your dream. Yeah? But have realized it's not easy, right? So the challenge is here. Okay, I'm finished quite of quotes. That's not mine. It's all from the literature. If you do not try something new, some new ways, you are likely not going far. Everyone is a hostage of her history. Doing your best at this moment puts you in the best place for the next moment. Is it push around by life or push life around? Doing what you love is freedom, loving what you do is happiness. I believe that's all I have. I have a lot of slides. We got keeping slides. You see. Okay.